Hare Krishna. Herzlich willkommen bei uns hier im Krishna-Tempel. Good to see you all. Schön, euch alle hier zu sehen. Anybody here? Gibt es jemanden, der kein Deutsch spricht? Kein Englisch, sorry. Das wär's. Then we can speak in English, that makes it a little easier. Maybe, Garuda Prabhu, if you could turn on the light, das Licht. Up. Thank you, Loka Pavani Mataji, Sham King Karpu and crew for the nice bhajan. So, heartfelt welcome from our side, from the Krishna Temple here in Zurich. On this Sunday, we will have our usual Sunday program. That means right now, from 4 to 5, there will be a class, a lecture, and then from 5 o'clock we'll have a prasadam feast, a vegetarian feast for all of you, served outside, and then 6:15 to 7, there will be a japa meditation, where you can try a meditation on beats for yourself. And then from 7 to 8, a temple ceremony, and from 8 to 9:30, more bhajan, just like we had now. And today, actually, I have to say, it's a special occasion. We will have with us His Grace Madhava Prabhu. For those who know, he is a Kirtaniya legend, traveling the world, spreading the mantra singing, very famous, well known, and we were very fortunate to have him with us. And also, we're very, very fortunate to have with us His Holiness Bhaktivigna Vinash Narsingha Maharaj. Maharaj is gracing us with his presence, and today this is his third lecture. He's already given 2 talks today, so non-stop marathon. And just a brief introduction. Maharaj is originally hailing from Scotland, where he took birth in 1949. Actually, if for those of you who are in the Hare Krishna movement, you might have noticed we have a lot of senior devotees, Prabhupada disciples, in this age, the 49ers, Maharaj said, the 49ers. So Maharaj joined ISKCON early on, and he joined in London. He became a formal monk in 1971. That's also the same year that he got initiated by Srila Prabhupada, who you can see sitting there. He's our founder of the Hare Krishna movement. And from there, Maharaj traveled far and wide, even in his young years in Krishna consciousness. He went to India, he went to the US, and that's been the trajectory that he's been set on for all his devotional career. We can say he was preaching in many different countries, also in Asian region. He's going to China regularly, which is a very interesting field. Maybe Maharaj can speak a little bit on that. That would be interesting to hear. And so in the past years, he has also taken sannyas, the ashram, or the formal monk vows of lifelong renunciation in 1994 from His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And so we're very, very fortunate that Maharaj is with us today. Without further ado, I would like to hand over to you. If I can just request everyone to come closer, as close as possible. Gibt es irgendjemanden, der gerne eine Übersetzung hätte ins Deutsche?
Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaur Haribo, Nitai Gaur Haribo. Jai Jai Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. So this afternoon, I'm going to speak something about the history of a personality described in the Srimad Bhagavatam of the name Vritasura. Vritasura. Asura means he's a demon. He's an asura. Means qualities are not devotional. At least that's the name, his name. And he's an amazing character in the Bhagavatam. I've described, I said the topic of the lecture would be Vritasura, the hero of the Bhagavatam. He's the hero, we refer to him as being a hero in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So the history of Vritasura is described in the 6th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. If some of you are familiar with the Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Purana, as it's sometimes called, Purana means histories. So Bhagavad Purana, the history about Bhagavan and those in relation to the personality of Godhead. So it describes how on one occasion there was a king called Chitraketu. And this Chitraketu wanted very badly to have a son. You know, he was a ruler, he was a king. And for the king not to have any son, not to have any child, very bad. And so this king had married innumerable wives, but still he had no son. And then it happened, some great sages came there to him, and they told him, oh, we can solve that. It's not a big problem. And they gave him some special food. He said, give this to one of your wives and she'll have a child. And so they also told him, they said, this child will bring you happiness, but it will also be the cause of distress. So Chitraketu thought, oh, okay, no problem. So long as I get the child, that's the main thing. Of course, there's going to be trouble, so some distress. That's to be expected, isn't it? So he took this special food which was given to him, and he gave it to his very first wife. And the first wife then conceived a child and delivered a child. And the king was overjoyed that he had a son at last. But the problem was he had many other wives. And all of the other wives, they didn't have any child. And they felt neglected. They felt envious that, you know, the first wife, she's got the child. We don't have any child. So he gives all his attention to the queen who had the child. So these other wives were all so upset that they decided to give this child poison. And they administered some poison to this child. And the child died. And when the child died, then Chitraketu was completely devastated that he had lost his son. You know, he was so overjoyed in the beginning to have the child. And when the child died, then he was completely finished. He didn't know what to do. He was so lamenting. And so at that time, great sages came back to him, and they said, well, we told you, you know, that this child would bring you some happiness and some distress. And they told him, they told the king, you are already an advanced personality. You're already advanced in spiritual life. There's no reason for you to lament about this. And so the king went on to become self-realized. And he became so self-realized, he elevated himself up to become the king of a heavenly region. And at one point, he was traveling through the universe, and he entered into a region where Lord Shiva was sitting with his wife, Parvati. And they were sitting in front of an assembly of great sages. But the surprising thing was that Lord Shiva was sitting with his wife, and his wife was sitting on his lap, and he was embracing her. And in front of them were so many great sages. So when the king, Chitraketu, came by in his airplane, some mystic powers, he could fly, and he came into this region of Lord Shiva's abode and saw Lord Shiva in that condition, he laughed and thought, look at this. Shiva's supposed to be a great sage, and here he is embracing his wife in the presence of so many great saintly personalities. So actually, the king was a friend of Lord Shiva. He had some friendship with him. So when he laughed, it was, you know, it was between friends. It wasn't like he was really ridiculing him or anything. But Lord Shiva's wife took it the wrong way. She was not knowing actually this king. She didn't know him, and she thought, this personality has come here and he does not understand the exalted position of my husband. And she cursed that he's not fit to be a human being. I curse him to become a demon. And when he was cursed in this way, how did the king react? Well, the king came off his airplane and he fell at the feet of Lord Shiva's wife and said, thank you, mother. He did not protest. He accepted the curse. He said, so be it. You know that if you've cursed me in this way, I accept your curse. Well, she was surprised. It was quite a shock to Parvati. She thought, you know, by putting a curse on someone, that I'll really make him upset. I'll give him so much anxiety. But on the contrary, the king was not troubled at all. And he accepted the curse that, oh, you want to curse me? All right, let it be. And so the king was transformed into a demon. He took another body. He took the body of Vritasura. Asura means demoniac, not devotional. Right? There are two classes of people. In Bhagavad Gita, if you are reading Bhagavad Gita, there are two natures. There's the divine nature and the demoniac nature. And so Vritasura had taken birth as a demon. We would expect that he would have demoniac nature. But you will hear, on the contrary, although he had a demon body, he kept his godly nature. It's the nature of devotional service, that when you render bhakti yoga, whatever activity, whatever service you render in the way of bhakti yoga, you never lose that benefit. It's eternally to your credit. It goes into your spiritual bank account. So Chitraketu, he'd been a king and he'd done a lot of spiritual activities, but he had been cursed by Parvati to take this body of Vritasura. Vrita means spread everywhere. It means he's very big, gigantic form, huge size, you know, and ferocious looking because he's Asura. He looks ghastly, terrifying. But by nature, he's a saintly person. It's very surprising. You cannot always judge a person who is saintly and who's not. You can't just rely on external features. Anyway, Srimad Bhagavatam goes on to describe what happened, how Vritasura came to take his birth. It describes how the demigods, headed by Indra, on one occasion, they disrespected their spiritual master. The guru of the demigods is a personality called Brihaspati. And Brihaspati had come to visit Indra, the king of heaven. But Indra is living in the heavenly planets and he's enjoying a lot of opulence, material opulence. The demigods, you know, the people in the heavenly planets, they enjoy opulence far greater than anything we can imagine. You know, some people may think Switzerland's opulent. I don't know why, but, you know, some people may think like that, you know. If you come from some other third world country, they may think it's very opulent or something. But if we were to go to the heavenly planets, we would find far greater opulence. And also, they're endowed with much more intelligence. And their bodily features are also very attractive. Very attractive. So there's a strong mood. The nature of heavenly life, there's a strong attraction to material enjoyment. People who go to the heavenly planets, in order to enter into that region, you have to have performed pious activities. And people try to get there by doing different kinds of pious activities. Pious activities means things like charity, austerity, penances, sacrifices. So there are some people, their whole goal in life is to go to heavenly planets. But the nature of the heavenly planets is there is enjoyment, but it's not eternal. You may go to the heavenly planets, you don't stay there forever. You can live there for some time and then come back. So anyway, it happened that Indra disrespected his guru, Brihaspati. And Brihaspati was disgusted with them, so he left, immediately left that place. And that was a problem for the demigods, because the demigods are always being threatened by the demons. There's always a conflict between these two sides. On one side, the demigods, on the other side, the demons. The demons usually reside in the lower region of the universe, and the demigods, they're in the higher region of the universe. So sometimes the demons come and try to conquer the demigods, to take over the heavenly planets. So it happened that the demigods lost their guru. And without their guru, the demons came and they were able to defeat the demigods, because the demigods no longer had the blessings of their guru. So they were defeated by the demons. And the demigods were in trouble. They went to Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma's at the head of the universe. And Lord Brahma told them the problem: you disrespected your guru. Very important. You can see we respect our guru, Srila Prabhupada. He is the guru, the founder, and every day we worship him in his form here. We offer a puja there every day. So it's very important to get the mercy of the spiritual teacher. But the demigods had lost their guru. So Brahma told them, you need to have somebody, you better find another guru to take your place, take his place. So Brahma gave them some suggestion. Oh yeah. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Doesn't want to be defeated by the demons. So anyway, Lord Brahma told them, you need a new guru. You have to get someone to take the place of your guru. And he suggested someone. And so this person was recruited to be the guru of the demigods. But this person who they recruited, the problem was he was from a mixed birth. The mother was from the side of the demons. The father was from the side of the demigods, but the mother came from the side of the demons. So the person who had become the guru for the demigods, he had a feeling towards the demigods, but he also had some feeling for the demons. And so he was doing a yagya, and he was supposed to do the yagya for the benefit of the demigods. But he would do it for the demons also. he thought, why should I just do it for the demigods? I should also help the other side. And so he was offering oblations, you know, when they do the fire, if you've seen the yagya, you know, and we say swaha, and you put the grains in like that. And so he was offering oblations for the demons and for the demigods. So Indra didn't like that. So Indra killed him. So that was a very rash thing to do. Especially because he's not an ordinary person, he was a Brahmana. He was a Brahmana, and there was their guru, and Indra had killed him. So he got reactions for that. Indra got reactions. Of course, he was smart that he gave away the sinful reactions. He divided it among different people who had taken blessings from him. You take blessings from someone, you become obliged to them. And so Indra had given blessings to people, so when he got sinful reactions, he divided it and he gave it back to different people who he'd given benefit to. In this way, he unloaded his sinful reactions. And then Lord Brahma told him how you can chant a special mantra, will help you. They taught him the Narayana Kavacha. Kavacha means a shield, which not metal. Usually we think an armor is some metal covering, but this Kavacha is a mantra, and the power of the mantra will protect you from all the dangers. So Indra was chanting, he had this Narayana Kavacha weapon to help him. So anyway, because Indra had killed the guru, the father of the guru was very angry, and he did a yagya, and he wanted a son who would kill Indra. But he didn't get the mantra right. He made a mistake in chanting the mantra. You have to be very careful in chanting mantras, you know. So when you chant Hare Krishna, don't chant Hare Snake Snake Ram Ram, you know. You may go to Snake Loka or something. You have to pronounce the mantra properly. We have to be careful in chanting. You get the mantra a little wrong, and it's a big problem. So this father of the person who was killed by Indra, he wanted to produce someone who would kill Indra, but he just produced someone who was the enemy of Indra. And what happened was Vritasura took birth. He actually came out from the sacrificial fire. He's a ferocious form, a huge, big form, you know. And this Vritasura, although he's in the body of a demon, actually in his previous life, he was a devotee, but he had been cursed by Lord Shiva's wife. Remember I was telling you about how Lord Shiva's wife cursed this man, that you're not a human being, you should become a demon. And the king said, oh, thank you, mother. And so next birth, he takes birth as a demon. But he keeps all of his devotion. He's still a devotee, even though he's in this ghastly body. And he's on the side of the demons. He's come to help the demons fight the demigods. They fight a lot, you know. The demon, they're always fighting. There's always this conflict between the two sides, everywhere. The demons and the devotees. And so Vritasura is a devotee, but he's on the side of the demons. And he's attacking the demigods. Big fight. And the demigods saw this ferocious person coming. Oh, they were terrified. The demigods all turned and ran away. And Vritasura said, oh, you're cowardly. Why are you running away? You know, you should stand and fight. Anyway, Indra came with his weapon. He has this Narayana Kavacha weapon, and he can use it. But still, this Vritasura is so powerful. Indra, he rides on a big elephant called Airavata. Airavata, the big elephant, he was produced from the milk ocean. When they churned the milk ocean, they got an elephant, and that elephant was given to Indra. At the time, the demigods and the demons, they were cooperating with each other to produce the nectar of immortality, the churning of the milk ocean to get the nectar of immortality, a very famous Leela. And so the demigods and the demons, at one point the elephant came out, and that elephant was taken by Indra as his carrier, Airavata. You see elephant, we have an elephant here, you see? See the elephants there? They're not from the milk ocean, no. But they're doing a good job. So Indra came on Airavata, and Vritasura just pushed the elephant aside, and he smashed the elephant on his head, and the elephant was bleeding. But Indra, he's got mystic power, and he simply touched the elephant with his hands, and he healed the elephant's wounds. But still everyone was shocked how powerful this demon is. He could knock Airavata back. Have you ever tried pushing an elephant back? You know, no way, you know. And here's Airavata. He's pushed all the way back 20 yards by this Vritasura. So Vritasura was so powerful. Anyway, they have a great fight, and all the others, they're all afraid. The demons are running away. Vritasura is saying, don't run away. Come on, you're Kshatriyas. Don't you know? It's glorious to die on the battlefield. Right? Two kinds of death are glorious. One is on the battlefield, and the other is in samadhi. Right? We want to die like that, right? When we leave the body, we all have to die one day, right? So we want to. It's a nice way to die on the battlefield, fighting for Krishna. So I said we have our modern day hero, Srila Prabhupada, the modern day hero. He was fighting so many demons. He was giving Krishna consciousness. Of course, he got cursed also. People cursed him because Prabhupada took so many young people away from their life, from their material life. He brought them into Krishna consciousness. So many people were not happy with Prabhupada. That why are you taking my son away? Why are you taking my daughter away from the material life? You know, but Prabhupada was engaging them in Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada said, I have been cursed by all of these people because I stole away their children from material life. They cursed me that I could not stay in any one place. So that was what Prabhupada said, he was cursed like that. That he could not just sit down in one place. He kept moving from one place to another, delivering Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada was also like a hero because he tolerated so many inconveniences. But even when his body was diseased and he could hardly walk, he never stopped talking about Krishna. And he was still preaching Krishna consciousness to the last breath. And you can even see it's recorded in movies. Srila Prabhupada is laying there on his bed in Vrindavan and he's speaking topics of the highest spiritual knowledge. And he's even continuing to translate his Srimad Bhagavatam up to his very last breath. So this was the real hero, that he gave his last breath for the service of Lord Krishna. So in the same way, Vritasura, although he's in the body of a demon and he's fighting Indra, Indra's got this Brahmastra weapon and he uses his weapon with, at one point, he cuts off Vritasura's arm. And Vritasura doesn't worry about it. He keeps going forward to fight, even though his whole arm had got cut off. And then Indra fired his weapon again, cut off the other arm. So Vritasura has no more arms, but still he's going forward. And he's telling the others, don't yield to material, don't be attached to the body, go forward, he talks about the eternal relationship with the Lord's associates. Vritasura was actually a great devotee of Lord Sankarshan. And he wants to go there to the spiritual world, to be again in the association of Lord Sankarshan. And that's his mood. He's actually happy that he's going to have to give up the body because he's in the demon body. He thinks, why should I remain in this demon body? Let me give it up now. I'm happy to die because when I get rid of this body, then I will go to the spiritual world and I will again be in the association of the Lord and his devotees. So Indra had cut off both Vritasura's arms, and still Vritasura's fighting. And he's telling Indra, go ahead, kill me, don't be afraid, kill me. Indra knew this person is a devotee. So Indra didn't want to kill another devotee. He'd already killed one Brahmana and got reactions for it. He thought, if I kill another Brahmana, there's going to be problems for me. So he was, and he's a devotee. He could hear this person. He could hear Vritasura speaking about devotion and devotion to the Supreme Lord. And the real life is not in this world. The real life is in the spiritual realm. So give up your attachment to the material existence. And Indra's like, wow, he's a demon. He's got this demon body, but he's speaking about devotion. And he's speaking about eternal life in the spiritual world. What kind of person is this? We have to be careful how to recognize a devotee. Prabhupada taught us, don't be attracted just by the big beard and the long hair. That doesn't make someone saintly. We have to hear how they speak. What do they speak about? We have to hear what they're saying. It's not enough to just look at the dress or the external features. You have to hear, and then you can recognize. Just like people come to Krishna consciousness, and they're often looking for a spiritual teacher. So we tell them, the spiritual teacher, first thing is take shelter of Srila Prabhupada, that he is the founder and he is the spiritual teacher for all of the members in the Krishna consciousness movement. So that's the first thing you should do. Try to get attached to Srila Prabhupada. And then go on from there. You may want to go forward and have a living guru, somebody who can actually speak to you and guide you directly and even give you initiation into Krishna consciousness. Just like we have a process which is called Diksha, where a person is given beads and the holy name, and you know they're given a spiritual name also. So that process of Diksha is the process by which we awaken spiritual knowledge and remove sinful reactions. So when we get that serious that we want to actually get committed to to take initiation in Krishna consciousness, then you have to be able to recognize who will be your best spiritual guide. And it's not something which we just look at. You know, like people get pictures and you have a picture. Well, he looks nice, you know, I think he could be my guru. You know, that's not how you pick the guru. You don't pick the guru just by the photo. And you don't pick the guru just by the one who's got the most number of disciples. You may think, well, he's popular, he's got a lot of disciples, he must be good. Or you may think, no, I like somebody who doesn't have any disciples, right? I want someone who's not, I want a guru who'll just be my guru and nobody else is his disciple. And so sometimes we think like that, you know, we have our own material thinking. But the actual way in which we should understand the process of selecting the spiritual teacher, you have to hear. You have to hear for some considerable time. Srila Prabhupada recommends hearing for 1 year. And you have to be convinced that this person can actually help me. And so when we understand like that, then we can go forward and we can think about being initiated into Krishna consciousness. Anyway, here we have Vritasura coming towards Indra, and Vritasura has no more arms, and Indra's still got his weapon, his Narayana Kavacha weapon, and he can kill people with it, but he doesn't want to kill Vritasura. So Vritasura then, he takes a bigger form, and he actually swallows Indra. He swallowed Indra. It went right into opened his mouth, and he swallowed Indra. And Indra went right into the belly of Vritasura. But Indra, because he's got the Narayana Kavacha weapon, he doesn't die. Even though he goes into the intestines of Vritasura, he doesn't die. Vritasura swallowed him. So I think, okay, battle's over, no more battle anymore. So Vritasura sat down and he went into Samadhi. And while he was in Samadhi, Indra is inside the belly of Vritasura. He uses his weapon to cut his way out the intestines, and he comes out from the intestines of Vritasura. He came out. Vritasura is already in Samadhi. He'd already gone into trance. And so Vritasura gave up his body in Samadhi, and Indra came out. And this is Vritasura. This is the hero of the Bhagavatam. He's showing us how devotional service does not depend on any material situation. It depends on our own consciousness, our own devotion and absorption in service to the Supreme Lord. So Vritasura showed that, and Srila Prabhupada also showed us this example by his own lifestyle, how he dedicated himself despite so many inconveniences, so many things against him, so much opposition, even people putting curses on him. Prabhupada didn't care. He just went forward in Krishna consciousness. And he encouraged everyone, just dedicate everything to Krishna. And Krishna will take care of everything. Srila Prabhupada told us, he said, you have already passed so many lifetimes enjoying the material world. having sense gratification. He said, now give this one life to Krishna. You will not regret it. And so Srila Prabhupada instructed us in this way that we should dedicate ourselves to the service of Krishna. The material world, what does it have to offer us? Simply pleasures which are limited and temporary. But Krishna consciousness is offering eternal life of bliss and knowledge. So we all have that opportunity. We have to choose. Which way do you want to go? What do you want? Just like you're driving your car, you use the GPS where to go. You have to know where you want to go, right? So we should know, where do you want to go? You want to come back again? Come back again, the material world? Again, birth, old age, disease and death? Material life means that. Or do you want to get out of this wheel of birth and death and go into the spiritual realm, the land of eternal life, bliss and knowledge? We have that free will. Krishna gives everyone free will. He doesn't force us. Because if Krishna is forcing us, then it's not love anymore, right? If the man tells a young woman, love me or else, it's not love anymore, right? If you have to force a woman to love you, it's not love. But if it's given freely, and the same way, if Krishna forces us to love him, it's not real love. We have to develop that love on our own. And we do it through the process of bhakti yoga, by regularly hearing and chanting. By hearing from the scriptures and chanting the holy name of Krishna, we also worship Krishna, and we also try to engage in some kind of service for the pleasure of Krishna. It's the nature of everyone to serve. Everyone is engaged in some kind of service. Mother is serving her family, her children, or the man is serving the country. Everyone's engaged in some kind of service. Some people serve the dog, some people serve the cat. But everyone's engaged in some kind of service. That is the nature of every living entity, to do service. But the real service is service directed towards the Supreme Lord. That is our eternal relationship, that he is the master and we are all servants. We should understand being the servant is the most rewarding thing in life. It's the greatest pleasure to be able to serve. And if we can render even a little service for the Lord, it is to our greatest credit. And Bhagavad Gita also confirms that a little advancement made in this path will save us from the greatest danger. And so the danger is, now we have the human life, but you don't know what kind of life you're going to have in the future. If in the next life we become an animal, it's not very good. It's not a great credit. We have to be very conscious of our duty in the human life and think about the future. Future means future life. Where are you going in the next life? Now we have the human body, but where are you going in the future? Where do you want to be? So devotees are very clear about this. We're very focused. We're working simply to go back to Godhead. We want to go back to be with Krishna, to go to the spiritual world. Vritasura showed us how to do this from Srimad Bhagavatam. He showed us, despite so much inconvenience, despite the material body, despite so many difficulties, he did not change. He was very focused. That is required to go back to Godhead. Vayavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana. Those who are on this path are resolute in determination, and their aim is one. Those who are irresolute, their intelligence is many-branched, not focused on any one thing. Oh, maybe this, maybe that. So that's irresolute. We want to be very focused, resolute. Simply want to focus on Krishna. So we'll stop here. We'll ask if there's any questions, any comment, anything. Ms. Prabhu?
There was also a story how Indra once got a weapon from the bones of a sage.
Oh.
It's very interesting how the sage...
Oh, yes.
Can you retell the story?
Okay. So Prabhu is bringing up a story I didn't mention, but it happened how Indra got his thunderbolt weapon. He got it from the bones of a great sage called Dadichi. Dadichi was a great yogi. You can go there to his place. He has an ashram. It's in the Naimisharanya forest, which is well known to devotees, Naimisharanya. And Dadichi was there. So Indra was told, you can make a weapon from the bones of this great sage, because this great sage is very rich in tapasya. He's done a lot of austerities. So Indra had to go and see Dadichi, and he had to ask him, my dear great sage, could you kindly give me the bones from your body? You know, how would you feel, if somebody comes to you and asks you, would you be willing to give the bones from your body? What do you think? And so Dadichi, he was a very advanced yogi. He wanted to hear some philosophy from him. So he said to Indra, he said, don't you know the body is the thing we're most attached to? So Indra said, yeah, he said, it's true, the body is the thing we're most attached to. But he said, it's difficult to give charity, but it's also not easy to ask for charity. You should understand both things are difficult. I may be asking you to give charity. Understand my position. It's not easy to ask people to give charity. So Dadichi liked that. He thought, oh, very good, And Dadichi then gave up his body. He had that power. He gave up the body just by meditation and returned the different elements into the reservoir of the different elements. I gave up the material body, and then Indra took the bones of Dadichi, and he took them to Vishwakarma, who is the celestial engineer, and Vishwakarma took the bones, and he made the Vajra weapon, which Indra used to fight with, to cut off the arms of Vishwamitra, and like that, to cut his way out from the belly of Vritasura. Yes?
I had a reflection. You shared how Chitraketu, he knew, because he was not having a son, he knew that... So Chitraketu, he was not having a son, and he knew that the son, that was Krishna's plan, and he knew that having a son would bring him both happiness and sorrow, but despite that, he went ahead with it. And I was thinking, as practitioners or individuals trying to become Krishna conscious, we also have so many desires. And Krishna may not be granting them, but sometimes we insist so much, and then Krishna grants them, and then we realize what a great suffering it was. But we see that with Chitraketu's story, eventually, it was a Krishna conscious ending. But sometimes with us, it may not be a Krishna conscious ending, and we may become even further away from our path. So how should we deal with this when we know that if Krishna is not sanctioning something and we have these desires, how should we deal with it?
Well, you said we may not have the right ending, but you haven't come to the end yet, you see? You have to be more patient. The end is coming when Krishna fulfills his plan. You have to, just like Chitraketu could have thought that, oh, I've surrendered to Krishna, I've become a demon. But that becoming the demon, that was helping him to accelerate his path back to Godhead. And so that the things which the situations which we're put in, which may appear very difficult and very challenging to us, they're actually Krishna's arrangement just to accelerate us going back to him. And we have to see everything in that way. You have to see whatever happens, it is the plan of Krishna. Although it may not be our plan, although we didn't want it like that. And Chitraketu, all he wanted was a son, right? And so he got the son, but then it taken from him again, you know. And so things like that happen. We have to understand there's a higher reason behind everything, a higher purpose behind the whole thing. Not just some temporary issue like having a son. Son can give you so much trouble. And just like Maharaj Anga, he also wanted a son, right? And he got the son who was a terrible son, terrible. And the son was so bad that Maharaj, he went away to the forest. He gave up everything to get away from the fun because the son was so bad. And so we don't really know what is good for us. We have to simply understand Lord Krishna knows what is good for us. And we have to depend on him for guidance and see what is his plan, his arrangement for all of us. So that is that surrender. And so that's really the whole thing, surrender. What is Krishna's plan? Prabhupada wrote to one devotee, he said, you should always think Krishna has a plan for you. He was staying in Delhi, actually, at the time, you know. And in Delhi, in the beginning of our movement, you know, it was really difficult. And we didn't have many, we only had a very small temple and very few devotees, and very difficult. But Prabhupada, nobody wanted to stay in Delhi. They all thought, oh, Delhi, terrible, you know. Very hot in the summer, very cold in the winter, and you know, and not easy to make life members also, not easy to get support. Nobody wanted to be there. But Prabhupada told us, he said, Krishna has a plan for you. Just continue, just keep up your service. So you have to think like that. Krishna has a plan for us. We don't know what Krishna's plan is. We just have to surrender. Okay, yes, Mataji, you have a question?
I wanted to ask in terms of when in the beginning at some point you were mentioning that there is a demonic side. Just put it up. Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
You were talking about that there is a demonic side and there is a devotional side.
Yeah.
At some point. I was just reflecting at that time that sometimes I feel both of those sides are within me. When I'm like if I want to nap 10 minutes more, then that is perhaps the demonic side, where I should be waking up and going to the gym or something, then that's the devotional side. How do I, in my practical life, while I don't yet attain moksha, in this lifetime, how can I bring these two sides together and make the right or better choices in the moment? If you can.
Yeah, you're right, actually. You know, we all have a little bit good and a little bit bad, you know, and sometimes the bad will come more prominent and sometimes a little bit good, you know. We're like that. We're alternating. So how can we become steadier? Well, we have to take shelter of Lord Krishna and prayer. We have to pray, Krishna, please help me, guide me. What should I do? What is the right thing? And we have also our spirit, our authorities, sadhu, shastra, and guru. These things are very important for guiding us. So hearing from sadhus and reading shastra and having a spiritual teacher also, taking help from them, they can help us to guide us. Association, very important. Good association will help us to conquer over the bad sides. and keep us healthy. So try to always stay in the association of devotees to keep you away from Maya. Okay? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki.
His Holiness Bhakti Vigna Vinashna Singha Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for so lively taking us through these very beautiful pastimes of Lord Krishna. I think we could all feel that Maharaj spent a lifetime in studying the scriptures. And he's also giving a lot of courses, actually. He's a teacher at the Mayapur Institute. So if you're interested, please look it up, connect with Maharaj, and you can take courses with him also there. And for now, I just wanted to make one short announcement before we proceed. Prasadam is waiting, so I won't make it long. But next week, next Saturday, we have a special event, namely in connection with the Embassy of India in Bern. We will host a program for the Bhagavad Gita. The Indian embassies all around the world, they're making a special endeavor to celebrate the Gita Jayanti, which is on 1st of December, through having programs in honor of the Bhagavad Gita all over the world. And so we're very honored that they chose us here in Zurich, ISKCON Temple, to host that program. The whole program is outside in the vitrine. You can check it out. We have a very variegated program, and it will be very nice. Also, the ambassador himself will be coming and speak something, and also His Grace Krishna Prema Rupa Prabhu will speak on the Gita, and many other things are happening. So please check it out, and if you can, please come. It will be very nice if you can come and join us. And so now, without further ado, please do proceed, have prasadam. It's a set. Oh, one thing. Oh, yes, tomorrow.
Just so the program which we just heard is next Saturday, right?
Correct.
Yes. And tomorrow, Monday, there's another program. You find the flyer also outside. It's part of the Week of Religion. It's an interreligious program where people come to the temple to get to know more about our tradition, what we do. And Maharaj also spoke about the principle of Guru. So tomorrow we have a little program where we explain who is a Guru, why do we accept a Guru, and what is the difference between a true Guru and a false Guru. So there will be a little presentation tomorrow evening, starting at 6 o'clock here in the temple. Program will be in German, but if some of you come, maybe we can also have some translation, but it will be in German language. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock here at the temple. And then, please come on Saturday for the program with the Gita.
From what time does it start on Saturday?
Huh? Saturday is actually noontime, no?
Yeah,
It's
11:30.
11:30 till like 2 o'clock. Yeah. And then in the evening, Saturday, there will be also Mahabharat. You can also find the program here. There's a Mahabharat performance at the church, performed by our devotees. So that's also a wonderful program, Saturday evening. Okay, please stay in touch with all the different programs and do visit us again. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Is the Saturday program here in the temple?
Yes, in the temple.
In the temple on Saturday?
Yeah, next week, Saturday. Very nice, yeah. They just, hit us up and asked if we can do that. Of course. They want to spend a lot of money also. They want to sponsor 100 Gitas. They made me find things that they can spend on. It's really interesting experience. And I was hoping that they do this in many countries. They go to ISKCON. This was really nice. Indian embassy, the first thing they think about is the Bhagavad Gita.
understand my situation. May I have your book? But I'm not pure.